Like, aka the masochist delight, is a genre of video games that I find to be infinitely entertaining and interesting, largely due to the fact that you could lump a lot of other games in there with them if you think about it the right way. It's kind of like you go to a party and your friend says that he likes alternative rock, but his favorite song is Maroon 7's Cake by the Caribbean. It gets messy fast. But let's take it back to the start, as the first documented roguelike was developed in 1978 and was called Beneath Apple Manor. And it was meant to be played exclusively on the Apple II computer, because real gamers play their games on MacBooks. I don't make the rules, fellas. This, along with the 1980s classic Rogue, both established the two core pillars that really make a roguelike game, you know, like Rogue. I see what we did there. Those two pillars being permadeath, aka save points are for little wimps and fetuses, and dungeon crawling through a procedurally generated area. And that's a big word, so I'm just gonna chalk it up to Minecraft. However, there is a third pillar that I forgot to mention, and that's just the fact that these games are really freaking hard. And around the time of the first two games' release, it wasn't very apparent, but that's because most games at the time were meant to be ball-bustingly difficult. Because who needs DLC sales when I got a pocket full of players? And it's the combination of these two traits, plus the arcade-like difficulty that a lot of them have, that make them so unique and fun to play. The permadeath makes you plan out the future of your runs. The procedural generation makes you, you know, have a different experience every time. And the difficulty, well, the difficulty is what turns boys into men. Or really buff women who are cracked at Spelunky. I wanted to choose 3 specific examples to talk about. However, narrowing down the list was very difficult because I feel like a lot of games fit the bill for a roguelike, or at least a roguelite, which is a whole nother can of Haribo branded gummy worms that we're gonna have to open up later. Because if you really want to split hairs, you could say that Mario Bros. 3 from the hit movie Beethoven is a roguelike where Mario starts the game with 5 death defiances. So, despite listing the 3 deadly sins that make a roguelike, I'm going to present you with 3 specimens ranging from Teacher's Pet only plays games on his Apple computer roguelike to something a little more out there. The first one being while the 1980s Rogue played more like a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Nuzlocke, Spelunky took the formula and adapted it to that of a side-scroller. You know, like the game from Beethoven. In both Spelunky 1 and 2, you play as an adventurer trying to make it to the depths of a treacherous cavern. Or to outer space, I guess. You start with 4 bombs, 4 ropes, and a dinky little whip with melee hitboxes. The game fits the bill of a roguelike by fulfilling all of the 3 traits mentioned earlier, as well as highlighting one of my favorite parts of the genre. Knowledge being your key to success. That's right. Knowledge. Each time you start a run in these games, you'll notice little patterns, like how the arrow traps are motion activated, or that the shopkeeper does not accept FAFSA as a proper form of payment. Like, oh my god. Something I find to be amazing about this game is how it really convinces you that its world is alive, because everything operates under the exact same rules that you do. Those traps and enemies don't only react to you, so you can figure out what something does by watching an enemy die in the most hilarious way possible. Let's go. Hey, guy. No! Why? But that could have been you, not but 2 runs earlier. It creates these scenarios where you step into a room and you feel like Doctor Strange, predicting all of the possible outcomes from all the traps and enemies around you. And after a while, you grow to enjoy the predictability, because now you know how to get around it. Except the crush traps. Crush traps. That's not even mentioning the items. Relatively low tier ones like the climber's gloves, the jump boots, or the skeleton key can completely change the way you play the game. They can open up pathways that were once impossible, or at the very least made you use all of your resources to get to. Or you can just find a jetpack and have infinite jumps and a guaranteed ticket to the end game. Just don't hug those guys. So on top of managing your physical well-being by not being thrown around like a football, you gotta keep moving at a PB pace, or else the ghost is gonna catch you faster than Steam putting porn on the front page. Okay. Oh. Yep, that took way less time than I wanted it to. The satisfaction of making it to a new zone, or if you're really cool, actually beating the game and getting to the post game, is something that can't be traded for anything else. Dying in a roguelike is oftentimes not nearly as tilting as it is in a lot of other games because you're meant to die a lot. Each death gives you the knowledge and the skill to make it there faster and get further than you ever thought you could before.
I never I thought I'd see.
Just go play this game. This game is a masterpiece, and I guarantee you, if you don't put it down, the self-satisfaction you're gonna feel is like unlike anything else. And now that that little uplifting segment is over, let's go to hell. Hades is the first step away from the traditional roguelike formula that I mentioned. Being a roguelite usually means it has a form of meta progression, or a way to power yourself up in between actual runs, such as permanently increasing your max HP or getting Dionysus to buy you better wine. Each time you start a run, you're given a choice to either get resources that help you with your current run, such as boons from various gods, palms of power, or temporary max HP, or you can get permanent resources like darkness, gemstones, or nectar. So, whenever you play the game, it presents you with a really interesting choice as whether you invest in your future with the permanent resource upgrades, or you risk it all on chaos boons like a real gambler. Other roguelikes are completely random in the way you encounter items. Games like Hades or honorable mentions like Risk of Rain 2 or Balatro give you a direct means of how you want to play your run. Want to get up nice and close like with your enemies? Use the fists. Want to roleplay as the Olympian sniper? Use the bow. Maybe you have a crush on a specific god that, makes you feel a little warm inside. You get little butterflies in your stomach. Like Ares. You can use one of the many keepsakes you get from playing the dating simulator side of the game. Because yes, this game has that too. And I'm starting to notice some things about the games that I like. Hades highlights one of my favorite parts of roguelikes. That being that when the stars align in the gamer night sky, sometimes you can feel broken. Sometimes when you're playing the game, the gods will present you with various boons that, when combined, create some really disgusting synergies. And that's not even mentioning actual duo boons. Shout out Merciful End over there. That on top of all the weapon modifiers and the meta progression, and you can get some really unholy combos with this stuff, which I guess is kind of just on par. Oh, and did I mention the music in this game, which is banging respectfully? And the story, because they turn the idea of dying on repeat into a compelling narrative. Like how do you do that? With the sequel looking to just be more Hades, which is honestly the best compliment I can give a game, I am extremely excited to see where this franchise goes, and I hope more people play it. And I had to include Hades in this video because it's one of the most widespread and loved roguelikes of all time. And now I'm gonna make you question my validity. Now I know this game is not technically classified as a roguelike, but hear me out, guys. In Pikmin 1 and the post-game of Pikmin 4, you have to collect 30 pieces of Captain Olimar's ship and get out of the planet before the 30-day time limit runs out, or you reset and die. But Calbe, you can make saves and go back if you mess up. Yeah, and you can go to jail. And yes, I know that Pikmin 3 has a time limit, however, it's incredibly difficult to run out of juice to launch in that game, so I'm not going to count it this time, even though it does look very tasty, it really does. If you play the game in one sitting, you get a really good roguelike experience because you're once again presented with a choice. Do you prioritize getting as many ship pieces as you can in one day, or maybe you want to raise your army to destroy your enemies? Most people will play these games once and then put it down and move on with their regular adult lives. However, if you're just dying to scratch that itch, I guarantee you should go back in one more time because you get to experience another one of the joys of this genre. That being efficiency. Becoming more efficient in anything is extremely satisfying, and I feel like roguelikes are especially good at portraying this. Pikmin just being a game that does so to the most full and satisfying degree. Managing your army of little dudes to clear a bunch of tasks at the same time is just so satisfying. There's no other way to describe it. This game also rewards relaxation, unlike most of the games I play. So be calm, don't be afraid to engage in a fight, and don't feel sad if you lose a soldier. He died doing what he loved, and we need to finish the job in his honor. Once again, these games are fantastic. Please go play them, even if you don't consider them to be, a roguelike. I just felt like they highlighted this aspect of the genre really, really well. The point I'm trying to make with this video is that these games are just really, really fun and really engaging, and their design philosophy just sets them apart from a lot of other games. Because for most games, the key to success is just playing them more, and unlocking new abilities or getting better stats in order to complete a goal. However, RogueLikes presents you with the purest sense of satisfaction by knowing that the only thing that got you the win is you. And with that, I thank you so much for sticking with me this far. I honestly really just missed making YouTube videos, and if I get a chance to talk about Spelunky, then I'm gonna do it. And once again, I'm sorry for disappearing again. However, I'm back now, sort of. But also, I just bought Baldur's Gate 3, so I will see you in about 3 months. See ya!